when it comes to luxury, we need to understand that a luxury consumer journey is not digital only or store only. Hi, welcome to Seed Group's podcast. My name is Michael Makda, and with me today is Nick Vinckier, who is the head of corporate innovation at Chalhoub Group. Nick is a keynote speaker as well as an advocate in NFT and the Web3 space and knows a lot about the metaverse. And today we've decided to have a conversation about Nick's experience, his professional career, and more about what Chalhoub Group is doing in the UAE. So, Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Nick Vinckier, head of corporate innovation at Chalhoub Group, which means that I'm looking after the second horizon of our group, looking for new business models, exploring them, and then once they work, looking for ways to integrate them in a sustainable way. Concretely, I work together with the business units that are already existing in Chalhoub Group. For example, launching the pre-loved category in level shoes, setting up subscription models for Faces, launching NFT collections for Christoffel. We just developed or recently developed a phygital sneaker as a collaboration between Lanvin and Level Shoes. We launched a rental platform for our homeware concept Tanagra. So these are a bit the concrete examples of the fun stuff that I get to work on. Every day is different, and every day is super exciting. My background is business consulting, and before that I used to be in the entertainment and nightlife industry, and I've been here in Dubai for about 5 years now. First as a consultant, the first 2 years, and then I joined the group around 3 years ago. First as head of growth, where I had the opportunity to work at Faces.com, then a very short time at Triano.com, and now I'm head of corporate innovation.
Okay, I want to go a little bit back a little bit more about Nick. So, where are you from?
I'm from Belgium.
You're from Belgium, and when did you get to Dubai?
2017 on a project basis with Chalhoub Group. The consulting company that I worked with before was a niche consulting strategy consulting office, and focused on digital transformation strategy.
Okay.
And we won a project with Chalhoub Group because we were like the funky young consultants. We had very practical frameworks, not like the 100-page PDFs and that's it. We were really feet on the ground and making sure that stuff gets implemented. So we won a project with Chalhoub Group to set up their digital transformation strategy in 2017, and then to translate the strategy into a practical roadmap, helping set up the transformation team together with, back then, the Chief Transformation Officer, Rania Masri. The company asked me to come to Dubai every other week, so week Dubai, week Belgium, week Dubai, week Belgium, and help them set up the transformation for Chalhoub Group. And after 6 months, I kind of like, okay, this is enough, the back and forth traveling. And at the same time, Patrick Chalhoub and our office said, why don't we set up a local office in Dubai? Chalhoub Group likes what we do as a consulting firm. We like to be in the region. We think the UAE and the Middle East is an amazing region for expansion, super innovative. So why don't we shake hands and grow together? And I was the lucky one, or the crazy one, to relocate and set up that office.
And you've been here for 4 years?
It will be 5 years with the year changing.
Gotcha. And so you've seen it during the pandemic. How was it during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, I think it's there's a how do I say it? There's a double feeling maybe. So I think that first and foremost, how Dubai government has handled it, I think it was in the best way possible. If in looking at hindsight, from the beginning they looked at it in a very normal way, trying to make sure that people are not scared for no reason. But once it got really serious, they acted very strict and in a very good way. Let's say that in 3 months' time we had a very severe lockdown,
right?
Which was pretty painful, I think, for everyone. We had to sit at home. The social life stopped. For us as retailers, it was very harsh because they had all the all the stores closed. But then after 3 months, everything opened again. And then if you look at it in hindsight, yeah, I think many countries are probably jealous at what at how Dubai handled the pandemic.
Yeah.
Very strict for a short time, but after 3-4 months, everything was open again in steps, which made sure that the economy didn't collapse completely, which made sure that people on a personal level didn't collapse, because I think we're still underestimating the psychology side of, or the impact of COVID on people with long lockdowns, or lockdown, then no lockdown, lockdown, no lockdown. So I think looking at it in hindsight, it was very harsh for a very short time, but afterwards it was step by step going open, and yeah, and good way of handling it.
Your expertise, you know, as a you know, somebody in the luxury fashion market, and you know, with such an innovation mindset, do you feel that the e-commerce during the pandemic and the UAE was a very good opportunity for you as a person and as a business?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's always dangerous to say an amazing opportunity, because we need to look at the big picture.
Right.
So we're the biggest luxury retail group in the Middle East. We have around 800 stores throughout the region. So if most of those stores, more than 90% of those stores close, obviously it hurts a lot. Not only from a business side, also for our employees. A lot of people were staying at home. We did everything that we could to make sure that people were protected at Chalhoub Group. So I think we can be very proud that we didn't let go of anyone at the group during the pandemic and afterwards as well. So we made sure that everyone was protected. But coming back to your question, yeah, in e-commerce we saw an explosion in a positive way, not only in the UAE, across the entire region. And I think that the adoption rate from a consumer point of view has picked up versus other regions in the world, other countries in the world, where Dubai, UAE, Middle East has a very innovative focus, a very innovative vision. The policies are very favorable for innovation. The adoption rate from a consumer point is not always at the same level as the government, which is strange, because usually it's the opposite. The people are more innovative, and the politics in Europe, in US, have to keep up.
Right.
Here it's the opposite. Here we see the frameworks being very open and very innovation driven, and then the majority of the population needs to step up their adoption rate.
Right.
And with COVID, we saw that little gap maybe being closed. We see massive adoption rate, and we see that a lot of people that started e-commerce and shopping digitally enjoyed it, because they keep on doing that.
And now in a post-pandemic world, is that e-commerce trend still on the, you know, picking up? Or?
Yes. So what we've seen is obviously e-commerce was on the rise before the pandemic. Slowly but surely, it was a gradual growth. Then during the pandemic, it went through the roof, and then there was obviously a correction. When the stores opened, everyone was super happy that the stores are open. Everyone is happy that we can travel again. So obviously, you will see a correction there. But when we look at it, yeah, there's an uptick. So there was the gradual evolution went into a little bit of exponentiality, and now we see that the curve is again growing and growing and growing. And I think it's very important, although I'm an innovation person and I'm very digital savvy, and I'm like, I love e-commerce. When it comes to luxury, we need to understand that a luxury consumer journey is not digital only or store only. There's always mix and match. There's always you research online, you buy in store, or you go to a store, you fall in love with a brand, you fall in love with a collection, and maybe you buy online. So it's very dangerous to say, now e-commerce is cannibalizing stores, or the opposite way. But we definitely are seeing that more and more people are embracing digital ways of shopping.
More of an omni approach between
Absolutely.
digital and physical.
Yes.
So since, you know, so what's next in the luxury retail tech space?
What's next in the luxury retail? I think there's a lot of exciting evolutions coming up. first and foremost, we see an amazing evolution in terms of awareness amongst consumers. I think, or we think, that the consumers have never been more awakened than today, especially when it comes to sustainability. As a company, as a brand, we need to show that we care, and luckily at Chalhoub Group we care a lot about the environment, about people, but we see that consumers are actually demanding that as well. And this is translating in elevated or increased shopping in terms of second-hand,
right,
buyback. So, for example, people are really looking to bring their second-hand clothes back to stores or resell it online on platforms to extend the life cycle of their clothing and their shoes and whatever. So I think that is one of the biggest areas right now of potential for retail in general and luxury retail in specific.
Metaverse and e-commerce, it sounds to me like a very happy marriage of some sort. Have you experienced anything with metaverses in Chalhoub?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a second evolution or a second domain that we see that is extremely interesting for luxury retail. Anything that has to do with Web3 and metaverse. I believe that there's two big streams, the decentralization of the internet and internet becoming way more immersive than it used to be. Especially as luxury retailers, what we're seeing with metaverse, the immersive part of immersive worlds, for example, go hand in hand with luxury retail because it's a new way of storytelling. We're in the business of storytelling. We don't merely sell products. We sell a lifestyle. We sell a community. We sell a dream, and to do that in an immersive environment virtually. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense. Then you have the community aspect. When you sell NFTs, for example, people can become part of a community,
right?
Which, of course, this by definition luxury is. People pay a premium to be part of the Louis Vuitton community, because you literally wear a logo on top of what you're wearing to show that you are part of that community. There's loyalty as well. So post-purchase, there's an amazing opportunity to work with product passports now, where you have authenticity, where you have the provenance recorded on the blockchain. So yeah,
right.
There's a lot of great things coming up in that area.
From your experience and from your expertise in the market, can you give me an example of a company implementing a metaverse strategy in the retail space?
I think there's when it comes to metaverse right now, we're in the stage where it is very important to do a lot of experimentation. I think if we look at it globally, there are a couple of conglomerates that are doing a good job in terms of experimenting a lot. I think if you look at what Kering is doing with Gucci specifically, that shows that they are really on top of things and that are really understanding that experimentation is very important right now. If we look at everything what LVMH is doing, it's a little bit of a different approach. I would say that they are not as crazy in terms of their experimentation, although they are really looking at the different areas of what you can do with Web3 and with the metaverse. So I think those two conglomerates are doing a great job, and yeah, I think that humbly, but I can say that Chalhoub Group is also showing that we understand where the world is moving towards. We're trying to keep the finger at the pulse. We see that local consumers and global consumers are actually expecting their favorite brands to be in the metaverse. So we're also aggressively testing and experimenting all the areas of the metaverse.
Right. And most recently, you at Chalhoub Group, you did something with Level Shoes, if I'm right, an NFT, and you called it Phygital?
Yes, correct.
Could you explain to me what Phygital is?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to be honest, I used to cringe by the word Phygital when we were talking about e-commerce and stores, because I never felt that was the right word. I love the word omnichannel because that's the right description. But now with the metaverse, I think it's perfect to use the word phygital because it's the combination of virtual and physical, or digital and physical. And what we've done with Level Shoes and Lanvin is there's a limited edition sneaker. There's only 100 physical sneakers that Lanvin and Level Shoes created. It's only available at the Level Shoes store in Dubai Mall and online. And anyone who buys the shoe, the physical sneaker, gets access to the NFT. And then once you have the NFT, you can claim a virtual wearable which your avatar can wear in Decentraland, in one of the metaverse platforms. So it's not only you physically that can wear the sneaker, it's also you virtually that can wear the sneaker. And I think that is the future of retail, where anything you buy physically will have a translation virtually, or the opposite way, because you could also buy something in a virtual world for your avatar and then get a physical experience, whether that's the product or access to something or being part of a community or whatever.
Right.
So that's phygital.
One of my sister-in-law's daughter, she plays one of these games, Fortnite, and once all of a sudden she used my Xbox that I was playing, and I could look at my credit card and I could see all these different transactions, and I'm like, what are you buying, And she's like, virtual goods. And I'm like, what are you getting out of it, But now, I guess once it becomes phygital, there's a little bit more value, especially to my generation, which is, we don't see the value in this yet. Okay, I gotta ask this question. You're a very stylish guy.
Thank you.
Is it because you work in Chalhoub Group?
I guess so. I think there's it's subjective, so I have to say thank you. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that will say that it's not true. I try to keep up, and there's a lot of people that are way more stylish than I am at our group. I try to keep up, and I have to.
Right. It comes with the environment of working there.
Absolutely.
I guess. Okay. Let's talk about NFTs. So some people love them, some people hate them. Some people say they're oversupplied right now. Did we miss the train? Is this technology here to stay? And from your expertise, what do you think locally? Is there an adoption for it?
Absolutely. I think that there's a big adoption rate here in UAE specifically, and in the Middle East in general. We recently published a report, the GCC State of the Metaverse, where we surveyed 1,600 luxury consumers here in the region across UAE, Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, and Oman. And the insights were extremely positive towards crypto and NFTs and the metaverse. So for example, more than 4 out of 10 luxury consumers own crypto, which is crazy to see in terms of the adoption rate versus other regions in the world. So significantly higher than anywhere else in Europe, in the States. And for NFTs, almost 30% of local luxury consumers own NFTs. And what is maybe more shocking is that 80% of these people said we are planning or anticipating to spend more on crypto, on NFTs in the coming 12 months. I think it's very important to understand, people that maybe are not following the recent news about crypto, about NFTs, we are in what is called a winter. We're in a bear market, so prices are very low of crypto. NFTs are not doing really great right now. So for the people that have already invested in it, most of them are taking a loss right now and are in a loss position. But all of or 80% of them are saying we plan on spending more even.
Right.
So no one is feeling negatively, or the far majority is not feeling negative about it.
Okay.
And is planning to go even deeper into that new technology. So for sure, we're seeing that the current adoption rate in the Middle East and in the UAE is greater than in other regions in the world, and we see that the future adoption, or the future expectation, is to even go further. So we are very bullish on crypto, NFTs, and metaverse from a consumer point of view.
Gotcha. And looking through your LinkedIn yesterday, I noticed that you dropped out of school and then you went back into school, right?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
So tell us why.
Okay, yeah. So how do I start there? So when I was younger, I started. So I was 15 when I started my own little rap group with two friends of mine, and that kind of picked up. Unexpectedly, we published our first album together. We started doing like small tours around the country, and that made me think about using the platform that we built for ourselves to start a small label. So we helped other artists in their entertainment journey, let's say. And from there on, I expanded that scope, not only from hip hop and rap to DJs and electro music and the nightlife scene. And before I knew, we were hosting with other friends club nights when I was 17 or 18, booking DJs, promoting DJs on parties. Yeah, I had to choose something to go to school, and that wasn't really my focus back then because I was pretty successful for an 18-year-old in the nightlife industry. So I just picked event management as a direction for school because I thought, okay, I'm already doing this, so I might as well get a degree in it and then have something if all goes wrong. But after a year or a year and a half, I dropped out. Because one, I wasn't learning anything in school. Actually, the professors came to me and asked questions about what I was doing, and they even asked me to share my experiences with the students. So I felt like, okay, this is weird. I should be learning something, not teaching you.
Right.
And also, my father died at the same time, so I was a little bit in a small depression then, and everything came together. I said, you know what? I'll quit. I will focus on what I do right now, and then I can see in the near future what I'll do. At that time, there was someone that reached out to me, a future business partner then, and he asked me, "Why? You're already doing a lot in nightlife. Why don't we take over a nightclub? There's a nightclub that is open or that we can take over fairly cheaply. Why don't we do that?" You already have the DJs, the contacts in the industry. You're already organizing a lot of parties in the region. You have a good network and database of visitors. So I thought, yeah, why not? I dropped out of school. I need to do something with my life. This seems a good idea.
Very entrepreneurial.
Yeah, absolutely. And back then, the word entrepreneur wasn't even a thing. No one was saying. I never thought about, oh yeah, let's be an entrepreneur. But yeah, I was 19. I got the keys of my own nightclub together with my business partner. We did that for about a year. And very soon, like after 3-4 months after the opening, I felt like this lifestyle is insane because during the day you are the manager. You need to run the business. You need to manage your business, and at night you are open.
Right.
So usually people sleep at night and they wake up and then they manage their business while the business is open. Like for example, the stores are open until 10, 11, whatever, but you can sleep at night. When you run a club, that's when the club is open.
Right.
So after 4 months, I was completely wrecked and didn't sleep at all. And I was way too young. I made a lot of mistakes in terms of cash flow, in terms of orders, in terms of crowd management and whatever. Super learnful. But after a year, I decided, okay, I have to stop this. This is not a sustainable lifestyle. I don't want to. Nightlife is really not a healthy thing.
And that's when you had the epiphany and you moved.
Then I said, okay, I'll quit this. And actually, I closed the. Funnily enough, I closed the door with in my mind, okay, this is the last time that I close the door, and I'm not doing this anymore. And the day after, I got a phone call of someone who said, let's talk. I want to take over your club for whatever reason back then. And I thought, wow, this is also a sign for me. I'm very lucky that I can just leave the business in a good situation. Did that, went back to school, a different degree, communication, PR. Finished that in a fast track because I thought I'm already, I'm a bit older than anyone else. Yeah. So I want to finish my degree, so I have something. I have a diploma. Did that in two and a half years. Interned at the consulting firm that then became my career path. So then intern, junior consultant, senior consultant, head of social, then managing director Dubai, and then I moved into Chalhoub Group. So
Right. So, given the global challenges that we're facing today, how would companies prepare for these challenges, from your opinion?
It's true that we're maybe not in the most rosy of situations today. There's a lot of elements that are coming together geopolitically, economically. So the outlook for this year, 2023, isn't very positive. I think that companies need to be conservatively in their projections, but at the same time, it's in these times that usually opportunities rise to the surface. So I think that would be the message to many businesses. Try to consolidate, try to be conservative in your projection, but don't be scared to look for opportunities. And once you see an opportunity, capture it. Because when there's a crisis, the time is you will never have the same opportunity than now. So I think that is the message, and for companies that are maybe organizations that don't have that opportunity or that ability to jump on opportunities, this might be a lesson for the future. In Dutch, there's a saying: you have to change the roof when the sun is out. So I think that once we get out of this global recession, safe and well as an organization, then it's really time to change the roof. I think that's the key message.
Very good message. I think what's more importantly to say is with every challenge comes an opportunity, and this is a tech opportunity as well.
Absolutely. You cannot slow down completely. I think as a business, you need to be conservative in the first place, but you need to keep your eyes open for opportunities right now, because those opportunities will not come back anymore when it's the summertime.
Right. So what are emerging technologies that we should look out for?
Oh, it's one of my favorite
questions.
I think obviously what we discussed before already, anything that has to do with Web3, blockchain, crypto, NFTs, metaverse, it has to be on your radar for maybe the next 10 years. I think that horizon is the right one to look at it. 2030, if that's your vision, if that's your time frame, Web3 and metaverse has to be something that you look into. I think on the shorter time frame, 5 years, something like that, anything that has to do with sustainability. So whether it's the selling of pre-loved items or second-hand items, or the whole economics behind buyback and reselling and extending life cycles of products. I think that's something that should be on your radar if it's on the shorter term. And if it's on the very short term, the next 18 months, I think we should be way more open, and our eyes should be really on everything that is happening in artificial intelligence. It is a little bit a paradox, because I think 5 years ago, everyone was talking about AI, while back then, obviously it was very promising, but the use cases for public were rather limited. What we see today, it's the opposite. We're seeing every week there's a new use case that is being launched. So if you look at text to image, for example, you just type, I want to see a pink elephant dancing in the sky.
Right.
It takes 17 seconds and there's a pink elephant dancing in the sky created by an artificial intelligence system. A lot of people are not seeing this, what is happening right now, and I think the next 18 months we will see an AI revolution. So if that's the time frame that you want to deploy capital against, I think AI is incredible today.
Right.
Not only from B2B, because that was already proven, anything with search optimization, personalization, anything that had to do with that was already proven, but now we're seeing huge opportunities from a widespread adoption rate. So I'm extremely bullish on that.
So we should look out for AI for sure for the next 18 months.
Absolutely.
And what would you advise or recommend to any startup founder that's looking to come to the Dubai or the UAE?
Well, first and foremost, I would recommend entrepreneurs, organizations, startups that are successful in other parts of the region to bump up the Middle East in terms of importance in their expansion plan.
Priority.
Because when we're talking with startups for Chalhoub Group, for example, to partner with them, whether it's in our greenhouse or whether it's in corporate innovation or for investment, whatever, most of them are very attracted to the US and to expanding in Europe and
Silicon Valleys and
Silicon Valley and it's sexy and everyone wants to be there. But then I think, why is Middle East on the spot 3, 4, 5 in your expansion plan? Why don't you come to Dubai and focus here and expand here? Because the policies are favorable. The economy is actually, if we talk about global recession and geopolitical situations, I think the Middle East is one of the safest and most favorable regions in the world right now. So that's what we say to any organization I work with. You should bump up the Middle East in terms of your expansion plan, because it makes a lot of sense. If you're B2C, spending power is high here. You have a very young population here, very mobile driven. People are open to explore new technologies. And if you're B2B, there's an enormous drive for entrepreneurship here. The business community is just very driven, wants to go ahead. There's still big growth here in the region. So I would just say to entrepreneurs, in the first place, put the Middle East on your radar, show it a bit more love, visit the region a couple of times, and you will fall in love with it. And not only Dubai, there's other places in the Middle East that are very interesting as well. I think everything that's happening in Saudi Arabia, for example, we've seen the World Cup in Qatar. We've seen Expo here in Dubai. So, if you don't think that this is the time to come to the Middle East, I think you're missing out as an entrepreneur.
Right. Well, Nick, from Chalhoub Group, thank you very much for joining us today. We really enjoyed having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We hope to have you again soon on the Seed Group podcast.
Anytime. Thank you so much.